Allysia here, and today I wanted to talk with you guys about daily to-do lists and tasks. So I'm a busy person. I run an online business called Piano TV. I have a ton of projects on the go at any given time. So at the moment, I'm currently working on mixing an album with my band, and I'm a parent of a toddler. So my days are pretty packed, and as such, it's really important to me to and I'm definitely not always successful at this, but to stay organized, but also to not have an organizational system that is intense and too difficult to maintain and sprawling. So I've tried all different kinds of tools and methods of keeping track of my to-do lists and tasks and things like that. And honestly, the thing that works best, and the thing I'm going to show you today, and I'll try to make this as practical as I can, is a to-do list on legal paper. So I use like just this. This is what I write my tasks of the day on. That's it. So that's what I'm going to show you, how I would go about planning a day's work and how this little legal pad helps me get the job done, and I don't need any fancy tools. So before I even write anything down on my legal pad, I open up my computer because I have a sheet of my, like just a spreadsheet of habits and stuff. So basically this is going to be showing me the things that I'm going to be writing down. So these are kind of like my daily activities and stuff like that. So I have like CBT practice, I check emails and forum, exercise, etc. So these are all things that either I'm doing every day or most days, just depending on the day. I also have another sheet of essentially just other habits. So a lot of these are non-time bound habits. So for example, brush teeth twice a day, that kind of thing, floss every day, etc. Those don't take up time. Those are just things to remember. So I basically have that all in a list. And then I also do have some extra daily habits related to self-care. So things like shower, putting on makeup, like just pampery kind of stuff that I like to do. Connect with people. I have some CBT exercises I'm specifically working on right now. And then I also have habits that aren't every day. Basically, these are more longer term habits. So I'm working on a piano TV course right now, saying hello on people's birthdays. I do my weekly reviews every Sunday. I do weekly accounting, etc., etc. So I basically look through this every evening when I'm making my plans for the next day, thinking, okay, what are the like important habits that I want to get done? And then I also have a sense of what are the big projects that I'm working on as well. So it's like a two-part system. And I also look at my calendar. Okay, are there already calendar appointments in my day? So let's get to the legal pad and I'll show you how this will look when I'm writing it down. All right, so before I start deciding on the general schedule of my day, I just start by writing down on the far right column basically just the habits and stuff. So I'm going to do like my CBT, emails, forum. So once I have my habits written down, I have a couple more boring things to write down, like I'm going to have to like cook and prep supper. That's something that I definitely can't avoid doing. Also really want to make sure I block off enough time to do a 90-minute work session. And this session is going to allow me to move the needle forward on one of my big 3 projects of the week. So in this case, it'll likely be the people database thing that I was talking about. I also have an appointment at 11 a.m. I have a social event with some friends, and then I have a time limit because in the evening I'm going to make supper, going to hang out with my daughter and things like that. So I do have a fixed time from morning to night. So I break this into 3 sections now that I have roughly my list of tasks for the day. And I am going to have to do a quick grocery shop, so I don't want to forget any little errands either. So now I'm going to just write morning, afternoon, and then evening. And this is how I start organizing my day. So I think, okay, well, I'm going to wake up at 6 in the morning. At least that's the intention. I always aim for that. So my morning is going to start with a little bit of gratitude journaling, and then it's going to jump right into reading, breakfast, like coffee. That's essentially, if I include breakfast and everything, that's basically going to take me to 7:30. So once I'm done that, then I think, okay, well, that's like the first thing in the morning. I know that at 11 a.m. I have my social with my group of friends. So I'll put that right there. So probably around 5 p.m. I'm going to start prepping supper. And I also do, like, I'll have a shower in the evening. I'll probably do my gratitude journal in the very evening. So that basically takes, I do that twice a day, the gratitude journal thing. So that basically takes care of that. I've got cook and prep supper. Now in the afternoon is when I usually, I usually exercise at a pretty specific time. I like to cross these off as I go too, by the way. I'm just trying to think what would be the best time to do a 90-minute block. I usually like doing these in the morning. So I'm thinking right before my social would actually make the most sense. So I'm going to plan something from 9:30 to 11 where I'm just doing focus block. And let's say, yeah, I want my focus block to be on the database thing. So just as a general note for that. So that basically leaves me, I have 2 hours. I know that it's going to take me about 30 minutes. So about from 7:30 to 8. It's going to take me about that long to get ready. Basically like get washed up and everything like that. So between 8 and 9:30 is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my, well, I wrote that funny, my daily musings video. So that's, I'll estimate that takes about, I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark of half an hour. So that gives me another hour before I get into my focus block. So what else do I have to do? So I did daily musings video. I could do, I don't really want to do my journaling in the morning. Not a big fan of that, but I could check in with emails, forum, and XP, which is another, it's just a forum of friends, basically, that's I'm involved in. I could probably squeeze one more little thing in there, but I think let's just leave it at that. So that takes care of like a bunch of random habits. So that's my morning. I'm gonna be eating lunch overlapping with my social. So essentially I have now 4 hours in the afternoon to finish everything that I've been wanting to finish. So I have to journal, exercise, do some CBT work. So I actually think a really nice way to start, CBT, by the way, is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's just some exercises that I'm doing. So I think that would actually be a really nice way to start. I could do that and then immediately jump into some journaling back to back, because a lot of the work I do for CBT is sort of like journaling anyway. So let's assume that takes 45 minutes, and then I'm going to do my exercising, and I'll probably have a shower after that too, just so I'm all good, and then that takes me to 2:30. So that leaves me with an entirely open afternoon. I've pretty much done everything that I need to do. This isn't a big work day for me. Most of my work days are earlier in the week. This is more just like tending to tasks and stuff, but I do have a 90-minute block up in the morning, which is how I usually distribute my work. Otherwise, I usually, like if I'm doing work for Piano TV, say, I'm usually doing like all day, like 10 hours straight of pure just nothing but work. So I like to have a little bit more flexibility in some of my other days where I just am more like maintaining habits. So this big block of time is essentially, I could use it for whatever purpose. I mean, I need to get groceries, but any random things that come up throughout the day get to go in here. So if I want to have some, if I want to have like some random relaxed time, if I want to have a nap, I'm going to have to get groceries in this time. If I want to do work, like if work things come up that, like if I want to keep working on my webinar, etc. But this is essentially, like I am going to be doing something in this time, but I like to leave it a little bit open because things always tend to come up spontaneously throughout the day. And now my day is planned. If I'm to zoom out of this process a little bit, it's not, it is as simple as using a little legal pad once a day, jotting down my to-do list items, crossing them off, and then reviewing them and just basically making a note of what I did during the day. There is a weekly review process that comes into here as well to help me plan more broadly. So in terms of what I'm deciding to do on a week by week basis, once a week I sit down and think, okay, what are the big broad strokes that I want to accomplish this week? One good way to think about this is what are 3 big projects that I want to move forward a little bit. So for me this week, it was learning about creating better webinars and implementing that in my Piano TV business. So I've set up a webinar for 2 weeks from now. Another one being, and one I actually haven't started yet, but I want to improve my social connections, especially with friends and family, which this might seem really intense, but is going to involve creating a database. And I've already kind of started that. I'm just keeping track of people's addresses and birthdays and basically like the last time we hung out, stuff like that, just so I can do a better job of keeping in touch with people. And then the third thing is simply to practice implementing my habits on a regular basis. So a lot of the stuff that you saw being written down, but when I'm writing these things down on a daily basis, I also have a sense, okay, these are my 3 big tasks for the week as well, in addition to all the smaller things that I happen to be writing down. So that's it. That's my system. That's the gist of it. I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch up with you soon.